Planet Zoo, Planet Zoo, it's time to play Planet Zoo.
Hello. Welcome back to Planet Zoo. This is Martini 4. We're back at Talbot National Zoo, and we are on episode 13, Lucky 13. That is, if you don't count the zoo tour from the last episode, which I'm not counting that. So here, this one, we are finishing off our adventure walk for the North American section, and we are squeezing in a moose habitat. For whatever reason, I could not get these walls to line up. I messed around with this so long, and I don't know what the deal was, but they didn't line up. And then I realized, hey, log cabins aren't square anyway. The logs jut out on the corners, so maybe the game just knew what I was doing and was helping me along. So here we're just building the backstage area, the place for the moose to go in and take a nap, get away from the guests, and for the keepers to get in there. Pretty normal stuff. I didn't want to use just the regular log walls. I really wish they would have made a version where they were horizontal logs instead of vertical. So that's why I made these myself. Just took out the grid piece and just left it like a log cabin. I did have to use the log walls here for the roof part, but I think that looks okay. Yeah, I've been working on a lot of stuff here lately. This video is coming out just a hair later than I wanted it to. The new DLC is going to be coming out this week, and I was just hoping to get some videos out, just try to tie up some of these loose ends here so I could build some of those habitats for the new animals. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I can pump out a couple of these videos that I've already recorded, and by the time the new DLC drops, I'll be ready to build. Here, just trying to get the barriers set up the way I wanted them to. I didn't want the viewing to be directly off the path itself. I wanted it to be set back a little bit. So I didn't want the habitat barriers coming right up to the walkway. And there you see I started building that, and then I realized that it's bigger than the barn itself, just for viewing. So I destroyed it and restarted everything, which it ends up, in my opinion, turning out to look a lot better. It took me a little while to figure out how I wanted to do it. I did try to just eyeball everything and just place it in there, but it wasn't lining up properly. And then, of course, trying to put a roof on that made it even worse. So I had to go back to the old wall trick so everything will line up properly. And I did use different logs for the viewing area here than I used on the shelter. So I didn't want it to to look too much the same. And then of course deleting out all the walls and put my little viewing windows in here. Thought it turned out looking pretty nice. The area I put this habitat in ended up being a little bit smaller than I was planning on using, but it was just a little section that I didn't really know what else to put in there. So it's funny because the moose are such large animals, and they probably have a smaller habitat than what I made for the raccoons and skunks and the beavers. Although with the raccoon habitat, they've been producing offspring like crazy. So it's been saying they're running out of space. So as soon as they mature, I have to sell them off or release them to the wild, which is crazy because I thought I built that habitat so large I wouldn't have to worry about that too much. So here I debated a lot on how I was going to create the barriers for this. I didn't want to just do, a full rock enclosure. I did end up making like a rock mountain on the backside, which probably the best option there, because behind it there's really nothing there. It's just the end of the map. So I figured it gave it kind of a natural backdrop. Trying to branch out, use some more pieces. Been watching a lot of other creators build, and everyone uses the faux rocks so much, and I just can't bring myself to do it. I like the natural ones. I know the faux rocks, they're, zoos and stuff use them because you can't haul around, 2-ton rocks just to put in a habitat. But, it's a game. It doesn't cost anything to move it around. So I like the natural looking ones. I do use faux rocks here and there, and I'll probably end up use them more in the future as I start getting into the aquatic animals and stuff. But here, trying to figure out how to make a pond here. I wanted some of it really shallow, and I watched Rudy's tutorial on how to make realistic looking ponds and rivers, and I could not get it to work. So I just kind of had to keep dropping the terrain down a little bit until it got to the level I wanted it. So that's something I'm gonna have to practice on, I guess. And now just building a fence. I wanted something that was gonna be strong, so that the moose couldn't just plow through it. So I got some metal bars here. Made it pretty tall. Like I said, I didn't want guests viewing from this pathway here. I wanted them to go into the actual viewing area and have it confined to that little building there. I did end up having to change all of this because they were still viewing it from the large path. Even though I put in a bunch of foliage and bushes and stuff to try to block it, and I tried putting a wall in, and that didn't work, so I ended up just having to change it all from the null barrier to a concrete barrier to keep them from stopping and blocking up the road. So here, just trying to keep the theme from the raccoon and skunks and the beavers as far as the trees go. Started putting some of those in. I do branch out a little bit and use some of the kind of the fall colored trees, the oranges and the yellows, just to put a little pop of color in the habitat and in the whole section from the aerial view, so that everything doesn't look all just green and the same. And then some of these trees, I didn't have quite enough space for the moose, so I had to delete some of the trees so they have, that traversable area, which it didn't hurt anything, especially since I had to fix that barrier because of the guest situation. Changing that barrier and moving some of the trees and foliage out of there, it raised it so just barely enough space for them. Once they do have offspring, it'll probably cause problems, so I'll just have to keep my eye on that. Release them or trade them out as soon as I can. But yeah, like I said, this is the end of the North American section. I think the next section from here will be, I think I decided on Africa. So it will continue down the river with some river-dwelling African animals. Not sure what I'm going to start with, but I'm kind of leaning towards the hippo. Over the weekend here, I took the family to a place out here called Wildlife Safari, which is kind of it's a drive-through zoo. They do have a walk-through section, and then a large drive-through, kind of a safari park type place. It's really cool. We usually go in the summer when it's really busy, and you hardly get to see any of the animals because they're so hot. All they want to do is just sit there and lay around. But yeah, with it being a little chilly, and there was hardly anybody there, and it was pretty close to when they opened. So we went through the drive-through first, and we got to see a bunch of the animals that we usually don't see. Like the hippos were out walking around instead of just lounging in the water. The rhinos were walking around. Kind of disappointed we didn't get to see giraffes. I don't know where they were. Probably in their giraffe house. It might have been too cold for them. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I took some pictures to use as inspiration. So yeah, you might see some of that. I'll let you know when I do use some of the inspiration from that wildlife safari. It's not too big of a place. We went through it in about an hour and a half. So that's including the walkthrough. It is I think the nation's leader in cheetah breeding. Their cheetah breeding program is like world renowned, I guess. A lot of people try to emulate them. They're really successful in it, so that's pretty cool to have. And they definitely have a lot of cheetahs there. And a bunch of cubs. Saw a bunch of those guys playing around and lounging. But back to the video. Yeah, just finishing up the odds and ends here, getting the sign and the guest stuff all laid out. Yeah, I really should have made it a little bit bigger, but it's pretty cool. It's not bad. They like to run around behind the pond there. I guess there's one little spot where the terrain's a different height, so they jump over nothing every time. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I really like putting all these little flowers and leaf litter down. I don't know. To me, it just looks really cool. Just having everything covered like that. And here you can see me deleting more stuff to try to get that area traversable space up. So yeah, once I took those trees out, that did it. But you can see the people standing there, right there, still looking through the fence and all the bushes. So yeah, I first just try to build a wall to see if that'll stop them. But people were still stopping there to look through. So yeah, after I got all of this in, people were still coming up to look through the wall, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I will just get rid of it all and change it to a concrete barrier. Call it a day. Then of course I had to go back and delete all of the custom fence that I put up. Yeah, instead of making it easy on myself and moving the trees and stuff out of the way, I just tried to work around them. But that'll just give me some area to put probably some like information boards and stuff like that on there. So here we are. I'll let you guys watch the end cinematics here. I've got some big plans coming up. Later this week, I've been posting pictures on Facebook and stuff of my giraffe habitat that I built in the giraffe house. So I'm really excited to get that video out. Hopefully by Friday, I'll have it all recorded and voiced over and ready to upload it and share it with you guys. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate everyone that clicks on my videos. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button, share everything, let everyone else know, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks.